On Friday, July 25th, the day began with overcast skies over Chicago, a city well acquainted with sudden weather shifts. But this time, it had no idea of the destruction that was about to unfold. What started as a light morning drizzle quickly escalated into a full-blown regional emergency. Before noon, the city found itself in the middle of a critical situation that caught thousands of people off guard. At 11:43 a.m., the National Weather Service issued a flash flood warning for several densely populated areas, including eastern Cook County and southeastern DuPage. Authorities were aware that the conditions were dangerous, but they didn't anticipate how quickly the water would cover the streets, shut down flights, and bring entire neighborhoods to a standstill. The rain came down with such intensity that in less than an hour, some areas had already recorded up to 2 inches of rainfall. Drainage systems were overwhelmed. Water spilled over sidewalks, flooded garages, stores, and homes. Underpasses and viaducts turned into aquatic traps. Drivers were left stranded in the chaos, unsure of what to do. Neighborhoods like Englewood, Bridgeport, South Shore, and Chicago Lawn were among the hardest hit. Water quickly overtook the streets and rushed into homes. In many houses, it seeped through doors and windows, leaving families with no choice but to retreat to second floors or rooftops to stay safe. Midway Airport, one of the country's busiest, witnessed the collapse firsthand. In just 90 minutes, more than 2.7 inches of rain fell over the runways, forcing flight suspensions and massive air traffic diversions. O'Hare, while less affected, also experienced major delays. The city was grinding to a halt. Road traffic was equally devastated. Along Western Avenue, between 76th and 74th Streets, cars were submerged up to their hoods. Some vehicles floated aimlessly while others attempted to escape by driving over sidewalks, endangering pedestrians and cyclists. It was total chaos. In Bridgeview, one of the lowest points in the metro area, the rain fell with relentless force. Over 6 inches were recorded in less than 2 hours. Dumpsters were swept away, cars lost traction, and numerous homes were completely flooded. What was supposed to be an ordinary afternoon quickly turned into a nightmare. In Ashburn, desperate neighbors tried to protect their homes. Armed with brooms, shovels, and towels, they attempted to stop the advance of the water. Most failed. Basements filled up, drains collapsed, and first floors were overtaken in minutes. There was no way to hold it back. All they could do was wait for the worst to pass. One resident, Denise Cerna, tearfully recounted how her family spent over 2 hours trying to hold back the water from inside their home. With each passing minute, the water rose, turning a small puddle into a full-blown pool. Similar scenes played out in homes all over the area. Meanwhile, the wind was no less destructive. In South Shore, a massive tree was toppled by the gusts and crashed into a house, causing major damage. In Morgan Park, another home was rendered uninhabitable after a similar impact. Fortunately, residents survived, though one person sustained minor injuries. The situation worsened with widespread power outages. Over 50,000 people were left without electricity during the storm's peak hours. While the number dropped by half by nightfall, the danger remained. Water and exposed electrical wires made for a deadly combination. Authorities repeatedly urged people to avoid driving or walking through flooded streets. Still, some underestimated the danger and got trapped. In one of the worst-hit viaducts, a person had to be rescued using heavy machinery after becoming stuck in their vehicle. In Summit, a southwestern suburb, the scene repeated itself. Homes were invaded by water, new appliances were destroyed within minutes, and floodwaters reached waist level on some streets. Neighbors helped each other get to higher ground. Restoration and rescue companies were pushed to their limits. Illinois Restoration Services, for example, received dozens of emergency calls. Their crews removed water from basements, replaced broken sump pumps, and installed dehumidifiers. The top priority was preventing homes from becoming breeding grounds for mold and illness. Jim Sharp, the company's president, warned residents not to enter flooded spaces due to the risk of electrocution. He also advised calling their insurance companies immediately and documenting all damage. Many families still didn't know the condition of their homes as night fell. Social media flooded with dramatic photos and videos. In Burbank and Brighton Park, residents filmed floating cars, people navigating the streets on improvised rafts, and children playing in the water. While some shared feelings of panic, others tried to keep spirits up with humor. Forecasts for the coming hours were far from optimistic. Meteorologists warned that additional storms could develop overnight and continue into Saturday. High humidity levels and a slow-moving weather system meant the threat was far from over. In LaSalle County, west of the city, funnel clouds were spotted. Tornado sirens were activated in Ottawa. Although no tornadoes touched down, the warning added to an already tense atmosphere. Authorities extended the flash flood alert until 6 p.m. and urged residents to stay informed. They recommended staying indoors unless absolutely necessary and following all emergency instructions. As night progressed, the rain kept falling in intervals. Some neighborhoods began to drain slowly, while others remained cut off. In many streets, water still covered vehicle tires. Recovery seemed distant. Sunday wasn't expected to bring relief. A new heat wave was forecast, with feels-like temperatures reaching over 110 degrees Fahrenheit. For those without power or who had lost everything, the heat would only add to their struggle. Survivors began sharing their stories. Some mourned the loss of their belongings, while others were simply grateful to be alive. Community solidarity became crucial. Neighbors formed cleanup brigades and set up aid centers for those most affected. Delays continued at O'Hare Airport. More than 12 hours of interruptions affected domestic and international flights. Thousands of travelers were left stranded, uncertain of when they could resume their journeys. In other counties like Kendall, Kane, and Grundy, the situation was similarly dire. Rapid water accumulation threatened entire communities. Narrow streets with poor drainage became death traps in just minutes. Rescue teams kept reminding people that walking through floodwaters was dangerous. Hidden currents, open manholes, and contaminants posed serious health risks. By 10 p.m., Chicago was still under alert. Emergency crews were still on the ground. Residents were trying to salvage what they could. Meteorologists watched the skies closely for signs of new storm activity in the southern region. This wasn't just another storm. It was a wake-up call. A powerful reminder of how quickly things can spiral out of control and of how fragile even the most developed cities can be in the face of extreme weather.